Hey, Nathan here. Welcome to another Unity2D tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss how to create a menu system. And this tutorial is going to be a wrapper that's going to discuss a lot of small elements like user interface, canvas, event system, buttons, how to call scripts from a button, how to set up multiple scenes, and that kind of thing. So it's kind of a quick overview on those concepts. And the basic goal is to create a menu system. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. I just created a new empty project. And I'm going to go to Game Object, UI, and there's a button here that I can click. So if I click that, it's going to generate a button, a canvas, and an event system. So the button is right here. So I'm going to move that up a little bit. So I'm going to set that to 50. Now if I select canvas and go to game object, UI, button, it's just going to create a second button. It's not going to create a second canvas or a second event system. So I already have a canvas. I have no need to have a duplicate or a second canvas in this case. So I'm going to select the first button and I'm going to label it play button. I'm going to select the second button and I'm going to label it help button. Now, in the UI, in the actual game, you can see the button's text is just button. How do I change the text? I don't see anything in the inspector for text. But if I look on the left side, I can see that it has an arrow. So if I click that arrow, the button actually has a text element inside it where I can type in the text here. So I'm going to say play for the top one. I'm going to expand the help button and I'm going to change its text to help. Okay. So we got play and help here. Now I'm going to hit Control S to save this. So this is going to be a Unity scene. So I'm going to call this main menu. Okay. So I'm going to right click this asset down here and I'm going to create a new scene. So this is going to be play scene. Then I'm going to double click the play scene. So this play scene is empty. I'm going to go to Game Object, UI, Text. As you see, it created a canvas and an event system. So this text, I'm going to call this is the play screen. Okay? And I'm going to increase the font size here to 24. Let's just go with that. And I'm going to set the color to... let's go with white. That looks good. This is the play screen. So something's going on here. This is the play. Well, where's screen here? This is the play is only being displayed. And as you see here, if I change this to like 96, what's going on? If I change this to 12, this is the play screen, so what's going on? If I change that to 26, now it says this is the. So let's adjust in the inspector, the erect transform. Let's set the width to, let's say, 300. There we go. This is the play screen. That looks good. Alright, now I'm going to hit Control S. And that saves the play scene. I'm going to right click the assets and create another new scene. Help scene. I'm going to double click the help scene and I'm going to go to Game Object, UI, Text. Text. And I'm going to change the text to help me. So it's a little bit different. And I'm going to change this to 32. 300 width, and let's say 50 height. Okay, 300 width and 50 height. And I'm going to change the color to white. Okay, I'm not worried about centering this and spacing it correctly. I'm not worried about getting the width perfectly and so it's centered and stuff like that. I'm just getting it for displaying, going from main menu to play and main menu to help and so on. Okay, now I'm going to hit Control S here. Now I'm going to go back to the main menu. So these buttons, if I click this canvas and play button, as you see here in the inspector, it has on click list is empty, and we can add to this list of what to do when we click the button. So if I click plus here, and there's a drop down, off, editor and runtime, or runtime only. So editor and runtime will let me click on here, and runtime will only perform the on click when the game is running. None. We need to assign an object here so we can add, we can call functions. So it needs an object that has publicly accessible functions available to call. So I'm going to go to game object create empty, and I'm going to call this scene manager. Okay, now I'm going to add a component, new script. I'm going to call this scene manager. So scene manager script. Now I'm going to double click that and open it up in Visual Studio. Okay, so this is now opened up in Visual Studio. I'm going to delete everything in this class. Now, when you assign something to the button action, it has to be a publicly accessible function. So public void, I'm going to do a load level or load scene, whatever name you want to provide. I'm going to call it load scene, and I'm going to give it a string name. Okay, so I'm going to load a scene by name, and what I need to do here is, this is called scene manager. However, I need to load the scene by calling Unity Engine Scene Manager. So I need to call Unity Engine .scene management.scene manager.load scene. Since I named my class the same as scene manager, I had to call it by Unity Engine.scene management.scene manager load scene. And I'll give it a name. Alright, save that. Let's go back into Unity. Let's click the play button here. We will attach it, the object, to this on click. Now, there's an easy way to do this, is take that game object. This game object has the scene manager attached to it. So I'm going to call this scene manager. So now if we click the play button again and drag this scene manager down to its on click, now it has that object associated with it, and you can see it has functions here. And if we look at the actual scene manager script attached to it, we can get access to the load scene here. So scene manager.load scene. So we're going to give it a string value of play scene. So play scene. So if we click that, it should play it. And scene play scene could not be loaded because it's not added to the build settings or the asset bundle has not been loaded. So, well, we've added our scenes to our game. Why does it need build settings? Alright, so let's go to File and let's go to Build Settings. You need to actually add the scenes in here. So you can just drag these scenes and paste them in there. And people recommend that you put your, well, you should put your first scene at index 0. Okay, so once you do that, put all your scenes in there. Save that. Okay, so I'm going to click play here and play here. So now that we added it to the build settings, we can actually go into it and hit the play scene. Now help. If I click play and if I click help, nothing happens. So we need to go back and go to help button. List is empty. Click the plus here. Editor and runtime. Drag the scene manager object. Go to function, scene manager, load scene. And we're going to call this help scene. Okay? Play, help me. All right. So that's the basic rundown of a menu system. That was actually shorter than I thought this tutorial would be. So let's briefly recap. The canvas is used to display user interface elements. The canvas, you can adjust, render mode, stuff like that. You can adjust settings. You can play around with this. We'll get into all this stuff later. But you can just do what I did. It created its own canvas. Just leave it alone. Button. We mess with the positions and the width. You can mess around with this if you want. Again, we'll worry about all this later on when we get to the more complex stuff. Alright, the on-click list. You can actually have multiple. Let's actually do this. So, scene manager. Alright, let's add another component, a new script. Let's add debugger. So debugger script, reload all. Alright, so debugger script. So I'm going to create a public void write debug message. Strain message. So public void write debug message. So debug dot log error or log. Let's just do log warning. Log warning. Message. All right. So I'm going to change the method here to log warning instead. All right. So write debug warning. Save that. Save that. Okay. That did not save. Close that. Yes. Now it saved it. Okay. So let's go to the play button here. And let's click the plus. This on click is, you can add multiple things here. So runtime and editor. Scene manager again. I'm going to drag that onto the object there. Function, I have my debugger now, and I have that write debug warning string. This is a warning. Okay, so I'm going to hit play. I'm going to hit play. There's that warning down there. This is a warning. So that debugger, this is a warning. And we also have entered the play screen. So we did 2 actions on that single click. That's what that on-click list is for. We can keep on adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. And it'll do all these actions. Again, there's a lot of settings here. You can play around with it. You can adjust the colors of what you want it to look like. Press color, color multiplier, fade duration, and all that good stuff. We'll get around to dealing with all these individual, more complex topics later on. If you expand a button, you'll access the text element where you can change the title of the button, change the where the text is displayed for that button. It's relative to that button. You can set the rotation of that if you want actually to be Z here, since it's 2D. That is bizarre. Not what Unity, well, I guess what Unity did. If you go ahead and give that a try, click and hold on Z and move your mouse to the right and keep on going past the screen of past where your monitor ends. It does an infinite loop. I'm just moving my mouse right and you can see it come back and come back and come back. That is really weird. Alright. So enough of that. I'm actually going to rotate that a little bit. Okay. Scale. You can scale it so it won't be Z scaled. So you can just, play around with all this stuff. And all that. Okay. Event system, we'll get into that later on. But for right now, you can just ignore it. It does what we need to do and click something. It will go into that action. Okay, so that's it for this video. So UI elements are in GameObject UI. There's text, image, raw image, button, toggle, and all this other stuff. If you don't have a canvas and you go to UI and button, it'll automatically create a canvas and an event system. You do need if you want to call scripts from that button, you will need to have an empty game object and attach scripts to it. So that way, if you go to the button and go to the on click, you have to drag, or like I did before in the first attempt, you can click that and just attach. Where's my scene manager here? You can do it both ways. Click this little icon here. And you can access whatever you need to access. Okay. So 2 buttons takes you to 2 other places. And if we actually go to the play screen here, let's save that. Okay, so play scene. Now I'm going to add another button on here. So GameObject UI button. And I'm going to position that. Let's position that down. If you hold down Shift, it'll go faster. I'm just doing this eyeballing it. Alright, so button here. I'm going to change the text to return to main menu. Okay. Now button, I'm going to attach a object editor and runtime. Oh, I need a new game object, create empty, and that's going to be my scene manager. You can duplicate this component from the other screen if you want, but no need to do that. Alright, let's do scene manager. It's an existing script, so I'm just going to add that script there. Go back to that button. I'm going to drag scene manager in there, and I'm going to call scene manager.load scene, and I'm going to call this main menu. Alright, so main menu there. And I'm actually going to name the button to return to main menu. Okay, so return to main menu. The scene manager is added to the on click. It's calling load scene with main menu as the scene to load. So now if we click play, return to main menu, now it's working. Play, return to main menu, play, return to main menu, play, return to main menu. And there we go. Quick and easy menu system. A lot better than coding it yourself. If I had to do a tutorial, well, I did do a tutorial on creating a menu system, but if I had to do a tutorial, a really in-depth tutorial on how to code your own menu system now, it would probably take 3 parts and probably be 2 hours maybe. So this is a much faster way to create a menu system. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, next video will be prefabs. So how to create prefabs in Unity2D. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.